Okay, so here I'm beginning on my sugar showpiece. I'm actually using ice malt just like you guys have. My box tells me to use a specific ratio, 25% water to the ice malt. So if I'm using 1 pound of ice malt, that's 4 ounces of water, right? Just like the poured sugar recipe, the ice malt is going up to 326 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure that you add your coloring at 255 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we can go ahead and pour that into our molds, okay? Right now I do have the pans back on the burner and they're starting to heat up. If you do notice that you have bubbles in your ice malt, revert back to that page that I showed you guys in the book. I believe it was 266 or 267 talking about ice malt. Get it into the oven at 300 degrees and we'll get some of those bubbles out of there. Okay, and I'm gonna show you a couple different cool ways that we can get it into the mold and change the effect of it. So now I'm starting to come up to 250. I'm gonna start adding in my color. So here once again I'm using those Wilton colors, and I'm just gonna add a little bit and swirl it around until my poured sugar turns the color that I want it to. It's supposed to be yellow, but I guess it's a little more orange. That works for me. Green. Yeah, nice green. And yellow. I wanted to do yellow. And we'll do light blue. Now you can see all my different colors. Boom. Once we get it up to the right temp, we're gonna hit it in a little bit of ice at home just to cool it real quick, a couple seconds, and then we're gonna start pouring it into our molds. So now I have 2 pans ready to go. I'm gonna start pouring them into my mold, real quick hit in the ice bath just to cool it off. Quick second, and now we can start playing with it. So I'm going to very carefully start pouring these into my molds until they're filled to the desired amount. Then you can use the sheet tray to, once again, like the chocolate showpiece, tilt so that you can get it nice and even, levels it out. Make sure you have a nice flat sheet pan too, or something flat to set it on. It sets up nice. And if you do have 2 different colors like this, you can start to play around with it and add the colors into each other. Matt's bubbling up a little bit. We're going to pour this one right here. And we'll try to swirl 2 colors, see if we can do it. Yeah. It's a lot like those videos you've been seeing with those live edged wood resin tables. Pouring liquid resin into molds, allowing them to set. Go ahead and get my blue over here as it gets ready to go. Let's try to fill one of these large, long pieces. And let me see if I have enough sugar to show you one last little thing. I think I put just a little bit too much in that one. So if you have a lighter color like that blue right there, you can take a different color, food coloring wise, take like say the orange here with a toothpick, and you can swirl it and get some cool kind of textures in your pieces, in your sugar pieces there. Let's see if we can't get this last one right here. Yeah, I think we did. We got it. Hope it ran over a little bit. That's okay. So now they're poured. Now we just let them cool and set, and we can get them out of the tray. If you wanted to too, you could take some of this leftover sugar and you can make some other designs. Like I was saying, at home for you guys, might be easier. You can manipulate the sugar and make different designs just by pouring it onto the sheet tray in specific ways. You can make some similar shapes like my mold here, okay guys? So here I went ahead and popped all my pieces out of my mold already, and I can go ahead and start assembling it. This is my one big long piece. It actually snapped, that's why it looks a little wonky now, and I was able to glue it back together. Similar to the chocolate, you can kind of glue things back together a little bit with a little bit of heat, melt them back, and then you're good to go. It obviously would look prettier if I didn't have to do that. Try to wear it carefully. I don't typically like to plan my showpieces. I think it's just fun to improv and let things kind of fall where they fall. If I was doing a competition style showpiece, yes, maybe we would get a couple different modes going. We'd actually have a nice plan, put it together according to the plan. But for this, for a fun, quick sugar showpiece, I like to just put things together as we go. So let's go ahead and start. Just like the chocolate showpiece, we're going to attempt to seal the first piece down to the marble slab. You know me, I like to have my torch just running off to the side. We're gonna first, unlike chocolate where we use some melted chocolate, we just warm up the sugar. Melt the sugar, it becomes sticky. Stick it to something and then allow it to cool and it solidifies. So we're gonna put a little bit of heat on the back of this bad boy. Not a whole lot, this stuff melts pretty quickly and a little bit of heat goes a long way. So once I can start to see it melting there, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it down on my marble slab. That marble slab is going to allow it to cool pretty quickly. Not sticking very well. Come on. Let's try that again. A little more heat. Get a little drippy drips there. That should be good. Stick it down there. Once your first piece is set, you can start working and building your sugar showpiece. If you can't get it set, you're not going to have it as sturdy of a showpiece. Not going to be able to move it very easily. I'm having a little problem getting this one set. Come on. Now I'm going to start putting coins around here, around the edges of this, so that I can put another piece on top of that and then access structure. This adds the supports as a foundation. Put one right here. Just a little bit of heat on the sugar pieces, not a whole lot. Coins to set on here, so that acts as a foundation. Just a little bit of heat, not a whole lot. If it's not sticking too well, you can hit a little bit of heat right there too. And then bring the two pieces together. They should come together. Let them fully cool before you continue. Building up, finding higher. I can go ahead and continue right now because I'm just adding small pieces around the edges here. A little bit of heat. Seal it. Now I should be able to put my next piece, right on top, just like that. And starting to build. Now obviously you want to try to get the most height out of your piece as possible. The higher you can get your piece, the taller, the more levels, the prettier it looks, the finer it looks, the higher end. This one, I wanted it to look a little bit different than the other chocolate show piece that we did, so I'm trying to start it a little bit different. Okay? So now, once our coins are set pretty well, we can go ahead and try to attach this next piece. See here, we've got it in the middle of that side, in the middle of this side. We're right on the edge where the green and the orange come together right there. And we're just in a little bit. So I'm just going to try to eyeball it the best I can, hit it right there in those spots. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see if we can't get it to seal up. Yes. There we go. Starting to get some. My coins are just not quite even, so it's not sitting perfectly, so I just need to bring it down a little bit so it seals up to all the pieces. Actually, it's not too bad, it seals pretty well. Let me just hit a little bit of heat right there. Heat right there. There, bring it together. Now we should be good. It's pretty much set. Now the next two pieces that I want to do are going to be actually these two at an angle. Make sure these pieces are in the right direction. Actually, let's put this piece. Yeah. Apart from each other. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to seal it down to the base here. I'm going to hit the bottom edge of the torch real quick, top edge on the torch real quick. Start to set that piece in. I'm going to hit this piece right here on the top, the bottom real quick, and hopefully bring these all together. I'm gonna hold them here until they fully cool. Come on. This bottom edge right here isn't sealing, sticking together correctly, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of heat down here and try to get them to come together. Oh, and my back side's sliding here too, so that's fun. Try to get these pieces together. It does help if you have a couple extra hands, but I'm trying to put this thing together by myself. I think I got it. We're gonna hit just a little bit of heat right here. A little bit of heat right here. Stop. Now I'm just gonna hold them as still as I can. I'm gonna see if we can get these to stand. Air dryer on cool setting, just like the chocolate show piece, is not a bad idea too. You can hit it with a little air dryer to cool it down, and then your pieces will help set up a little bit quicker. But boom, here we go. It worked out. I got them together. All right, we're gonna keep going. See if I can't add the next couple of pieces, get some height on it, make it look fun and pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and try to attach this piece back here to this side. I got 3 points of connection. I got bottom, side, and side here, so I need to make sure that I hit all 3 of those. I'm gonna use my fingers as a guide. I know where to hit it. Boom, boom. I like how I say boom, right? Isn't that hilarious? On the bottom real quick. And just be able to seal it up. Hit it with just a little bit of heat. Be careful if you're doing this though. Obviously that instantly warps the pieces a little bit, so it's just as a last final measure to kind of get things to stick to each other. And there we go. Sticking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and try to add a couple more pieces off the side here, see what I can't make happen. I think I want this piece on this main green piece here, but sitting kind of up higher like that. So I'm gonna just hit a little bit of heat on the bottom edge right here. Dripping a little too much heat, we're good. We're gonna go ahead and attach this bad boy. Look at it, it does set up pretty quickly, so work quickly obviously, but take your time, make sure you are working carefully, making sure that every piece does set pretty well. Now, I don't know if you guys can see here, do you see all those little bubbles? See it? You can kind of see it on that blue piece in the backside there. Those little bubbles sit in the ice malt after you boil it. Is that a bad appearance? Not necessarily. I kind of like it depending on what I'm doing, especially maybe if I was doing by the sea look. The bubbles kind of make it look, I don't know, under the ocean, right? But if you want to get rid of those bubbles, as it was telling you that page in the book, it talks about the ice malt a little bit, you can put the sheet tray with the molds. The molds are heat resistant with the sugar in it, the ice malt in it. Put it in the oven at 300 degrees for a little bit of time, and it's going to kind of help release some of those bubbles so you get a nice clear sheen, which is usually what you want out of your sugar showpiece, okay? So, I got a couple other of these big pieces I want to try to see if I can attach. I don't really know where I want them to go. I don't think I want it to go there. I think I want it to stand up a little bit taller, like right there. Maybe right here. Yeah, I like that. So with these big tall pieces, remember, you gotta think kind of like an architect, structurally sound. You want a couple of points of connection so that it doesn't just topple off. Of course, too, I kind of want this to have a little bit more height to it. So we'll sit this piece like here, so that way I got 2 points of connection. So I'm gonna melt that one side right there. I'm gonna melt this side here. It's gonna touch on both sides. Hopefully hold it together a little bit. So let's try this. Just a little bit heat here, and you should be able to attach it. Well, my bottom edge did not heat up correctly, so let's try that again. Much heat, you want to warp your pieces. Here, I think we got it a little bit better now. Because this is such a tall piece, if you heat up one side of it, and you're sticking it to the pieces and you don't let it cool down fully, the structure of that whole piece is going to tilt, right? So you can start to see right there, it's still hot, it's still melting. I need to let it fully cool so that this piece does stand up nice and tall. So we're just going to hold it there for a little bit. Let it set up. Once it does fully cool, it should stand up nice and tall, no problem. Once you can let go and the piece doesn't fall anymore, you know you're ready to go. There we go. It's warped a little bit, but it's not too bad. ahead and add the last 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and then we're gonna be good to go. Here, not really sure how I want this piece to go. Add a little bit more height, add it to the top here. Good, but this is already pretty wobbly. I'm gonna add it off to the side here, kind of like that. It looks kind of crisscrosses. So we'll just go ahead and add that real quick. The heat. Touch it. Sets up pretty quick. And we got this one last piece. Where do we want it to go? It's not bad. Do we want it off to this side though? Yeah, I think I want it to stay in there. So we're gonna go ahead and attach it a couple different points. 1, 2, 3. We can get the seal out. Together. Now I do have this one last little lattice style piece that I made at the end there, where I just poured that little bit of extra isomalt. And where could I add this piece? This piece is kind of lean. I really don't want to add anything to that. Added it right on top here. Doesn't have much support there, that's the problem. It's not bad. It's kind of rustic, abstract. I just set it on there haphazardly. Stick it on the front right there like that, then it would look really abstract. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Sometimes you just gotta go with what you like. So get a little bit of heat right there. Heat right there. So we can stick this bad boy up on top. No more heat. I broke one. And there we go. Now we have a very unique, abstract looking sugar showpiece. You can see it from all sides. Got a little bit of height to it. Work carefully, work cleanly, as you can see. That's why that one long piece right here I had to glue back together. Doesn't look as nice because I had to glue it back together, right? This would look a lot prettier, a lot straighter if I had done it nice and correctly. Either way, you get to see some kind of really cool sugar work going on here. You don't have a blowtorch at home, use any kind of heat source you could. You could even use the hair dryer on a hot setting. Use a simple grill lighter. You can just hold it underneath the sugar, let it melt a little bit, and then go ahead and start to stick your pieces together. And do your best. Have fun.